Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history, Marla Gibbs being kicked off the Jennifer Hudson Show after a firing exchange that left everyone speechless. For those who might not know, Marla Gibbs is a true icon of the screen, best known for her hilarious and groundbreaking role as Florence Johnston on The Jeffersons, where she sassed her way into our hearts as the quick-witted maid who never backed down from a verbal spar. Born in 1931, Marla started her career later in life, juggling jobs as a United Airlines reservations agent while pursuing acting, and she didn't hit the big time until her 40s, proving that talent knows no age limit. Her portrayal of Mary Jenkins on 227 further cemented her status as a comedy legend, earning her multiple Emmy nominations and a place in the hearts of generations of fans. On the other side of this drama is Jennifer Hudson, the powerhouse singer and actress who rose to fame after American Idol, snagged an Oscar for Dreamgirls, and now hosts her own successful talk show, blending celebrity interviews with musical performances and heartfelt conversations. The Jennifer Hudson Show, which premiered in 2022, has become a staple for feel-good entertainment, featuring A-listers sharing personal stories in a warm, inviting atmosphere. But on this fateful episode, aired live just last week, what started as a nostalgic chat about classic TV turned into a battle of words that no one saw coming. Rumors had been swirling about tension behind the scenes, with insiders claiming Marla felt undervalued in modern Hollywood discussions, especially when compared to newer stars like Jennifer. As the show opened, Jennifer welcomed Marla with open arms, praising her as a trailblazer for black women in entertainment, and the audience erupted in applause. Marla, dressed in a sharp red blazer that screamed confidence, smiled graciously at first, recounting anecdotes from her early days on set with Norman Lear. She shared how she improvised lines that became iconic, like her famous quips on The Jeffersons, and how she fought for representation in an industry that often sidelined women of color. Jennifer nodded along, interjecting with her own experiences of overcoming obstacles, but that's when the cracks began to show. Marla subtly shaded the current state of talk shows, saying things have gotten too polished and less authentic, hinting that hosts today have it easier with social media boosting their careers overnight. Jennifer, ever the professional, tried to steer the conversation back to positivity, but Marla wasn't having it, pressing on about the real struggles of pioneering actresses versus those who benefited from the paths they paved. The energy in the studio shifted palpably, with audience members whispering and producers likely sweating in the control room. This wasn't just a mild disagreement, it was a generational clash bubbling up live on air, exposing raw emotions about legacy, respect, and the evolution of fame in Hollywood. As the segment progressed, Marla delved deeper into her memoir, which details her journey from Chicago's South Side to stardom, emphasizing the racism and sexism she endured, like being passed over for roles because she didn't fit the Eurocentric beauty standards of the time. Jennifer attempted to relate by sharing her own story of losing family members tragically and channeling that pain into her art, but Marla interrupted, questioning whether Jennifer truly understood the grind of starting from scratch without reality TV catapults. The host's smile faded, replaced by a steely gaze, as she defended her hustle, reminding Marla that every era has its challenges and that dismissing younger talents undermines the progress made. Viewers at home took to social media immediately, with hashtags like #Marla vs Jennifer trending worldwide, some siding with Marla for keeping it real, others calling her out for being bitter. This moment highlighted the ongoing dialogue in the black entertainment community about honoring elders while embracing new voices, and it all unfolded in under 10 minutes of airtime. By the commercial break, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife, setting the stage for the dramatic escalation that would follow. Picking up right where we left off, as the show returned from commercial, Jennifer Hudson tried to lighten the mood with a fun game segment involving trivia about classic sitcoms, hoping to diffuse the growing awkwardness with Marla Gibbs. But Marla, still riding the wave of her passionate rant, wasn't ready to play along, instead using the opportunity to pivot back to her points about authenticity in media. She quipped that modern shows like Jennifer's rely too much on viral moments rather than substantive content, which elicited a few nervous laughs from the audience but clearly irked the host. Jennifer, maintaining her composure at first, responded by highlighting how her platform amplifies underrepresented stories, including those of veterans like Marla herself. Yet, Marla doubled down, accusing Jennifer of tokenizing older stars for ratings boosts without giving them the depth they deserve in interviews. This back and forth quickly evolved from subtle jabs to outright confrontational remarks, with Marla raising her voice to emphasize how she had to claw her way up without the luxury of talent competitions or celebrity mentors. Jennifer, feeling attacked on her own turf, fired back by recounting her post-title rejections and how she turned them into triumphs, insisting that respect is a two-way street and that Marla's comments were coming across as dismissive of her achievements. The studio audience, initially excited, now sat in stunned silence, with some gasps audible as the exchange heated up. Producers could be seen signaling from the sidelines, but neither woman seemed inclined to back down, each defending their legacy with fervor. Marla invoked names like Isabel Sanford and Sherman Hemsley, her co-stars from the Jeffersons, to illustrate the camaraderie and struggles of ensemble casts in the past, contrasting it with what she perceived as solo star-driven formats today. Jennifer countered by praising those same icons but pointing out how her show honors them through tributes and guest spots, like the one Marla was currently on. The irony wasn't lost on anyone, as this very appearance was turning into a spectacle rather than a celebration. Social media exploded further during this segment, with live tweeters debating if this was scripted drama or genuine beef, and clips being shared at lightning speed. Marla's fans rallied behind her for speaking truth to power, while Jennifer's supporters accused Marla of jealousy over the younger star's multifaceted success in music, film, and TV. As the argument intensified, Marla made a pointed remark about Jennifer's Oscar win being more about the role than raw talent, which crossed a line for many, prompting Jennifer to pause and collect herself. She then addressed the camera directly, apologizing to viewers for the turn of events but standing firm in her belief that conversation should uplift rather than tear down. Marla, undeterred, suggested that real uplift comes from honest dialogue, even if it's uncomfortable, drawing parallels to civil rights discussions in entertainment. The philosophical undertones added layers to the clash, making it not just about two celebrities but about broader issues in the industry, like ageism, colorism, and the pressure to conform. By this point, the segment had overrun its allotted time, forcing the show to adapt on the fly, with band members exchanging uneasy glances and audience members shifting in their seats. This wasn't the feel-good vibe the Jennifer Hudson Show was known for. It was raw, unfiltered reality TV at its most compelling, reminding us that even in controlled environments, human emotions can take over. The build-up to the breaking point was palpable, with both women embodying the strength and resilience that got them to where they are, yet clashing in a way that exposed vulnerabilities. As the fiery exchange between Marla Gibbs and Jennifer Hudson reached its boiling point, the conversation shifted to personal anecdotes that fueled the flames even more. Marla recounted a specific incident from her early career where she was denied a promotion on a set because of her outspoken nature, using it as an example of how black women had to navigate systemic barriers silently back then. She implied that Jennifer, with her rapid rise, might not fully appreciate those sacrifices, which Jennifer took as a direct slight on her empathy and awareness. Defending herself passionately, Jennifer shared vulnerable moments from her life, like the heartbreak following her family's tragic murders and how she channeled that into her EGOT pursuits, arguing that pain knows no generation and that comparing struggles diminishes everyone's journey. Marla nodded but pressed on, saying that while personal tragedies are valid, institutional racism in Hollywood during her era was a different beast, one that required collective action rather than individual resilience alone. The audience, now fully engaged, began to murmur in agreement or dissent, creating a charged atmosphere that amplified the tension. Jennifer, sensing the segment spiraling, attempted to wrap it up gracefully, thanking Marla for her contributions to TV history, but Marla interrupted again, demanding more time to elaborate on her points about mentorship and paying it forward. This pushback led to Jennifer raising her voice for the first time, stating firmly that the show is a space for positivity and mutual respect, not debates that veer into personal attacks. Marla retorted that sugarcoating history does a disservice to future generations, sparking applause from some sections of the crowd while others booed softly. The dynamic highlighted the generational divide in how success is perceived, with Marla representing the old-school grit and Jennifer embodying the new-wave versatility. Behind the scenes, reports later emerged that producers were frantically communicating via earpieces, urging Jennifer to de-escalate, but the host stood her ground, emphasizing her role as curator of the show's tone. Marla, ever the firebrand, leaned forward in her seat, gesturing animatedly as she listed off unsung heroes of black TV who paved the way, questioning if Jennifer's platform does enough to spotlight them beyond surface-level nods. Jennifer countered by mentioning recent episodes dedicated to black excellence, including tributes to shows like The Jeffersons, but Marla dismissed it as performative rather than substantive. This accusation stung, leading Jennifer to pause the interview momentarily, signaling for a quick break, though the cameras kept rolling for the live feed. Viewers online were divided, with some praising Marla for her boldness and others criticizing her for disrespecting her host. The exchange underscored themes of intersectionality in feminism and entertainment, where age, experience, and background intersect in complex ways. As the minutes ticked by, it became clear that reconciliation wasn't on the horizon, with both women digging in their heels. Marla's expressions ranged from frustration to determination, while Jennifer's poise cracked slightly, revealing the emotional toll. This wasn't just entertainment. It was a mirror to societal conversations about acknowledgement and gratitude across eras. Eventually, Jennifer decided enough was enough, but before that final call, the two shared a brief moment of mutual recognition, acknowledging each other's accomplishments amidst the chaos. Yet, the underlying friction persisted, leading to the inevitable climax that would make headlines. The entire ordeal served as a reminder that talk shows, while scripted in parts, can unravel into authentic human interactions when passions run high. In the heart of the confrontation, Marla Gibbs and Jennifer Hudson's words flew like sparks, igniting a full-blown debate that captivated the nation. Marla, drawing from decades of experience, vividly described audition rooms where she was outright rejected for not being marketable enough, using these stories to challenge Jennifer on whether today's stars face comparable hurdles or if doors open easier due to diversity initiatives she helped pioneer. Jennifer, with tears welling up, recounted her own battles with body image standards and the scrutiny following her idol elimination, insisting that progress doesn't erase ongoing discrimination and that her success honors those who came before. The push-pull dynamic escalated when Marla suggested Jennifer's talk show format prioritizes spectacle over substance, citing examples of superficial celebrity games versus in-depth discussions. Jennifer shot back that engaging formats draw on younger audiences to learn about history, accusing Marla of gatekeeping the narrative of struggle. The audience's reactions varied, with older viewers nodding in solidarity with Marla and younger ones cheering Jennifer's perspective. This generational schism played out in real time, turning the studio into a microcosm of broader cultural shifts. Producers intervened subtly by cueing music swells to signal transitions, but the women ignored them, locked in their verbal tango. Marla invoked the spirit of trailblazers like Diane Carroll and Cicely Tyson, asking rhetorically if Jennifer would have her platform without their sacrifices, which Jennifer affirmed while adding that she builds upon it by mentoring emerging talents. The exchange grew personal when Marla commented on Jennifer's singing career overlapping with acting, implying it diluted focus, prompting Jennifer to highlight her multitasking as a strength in a multifaceted industry. Tensions peaked as voices overlapped, with Marla exclaiming, "Child, you don't know the half of it," and Jennifer responding, "With all due respect, ma'am, I know my story." The raw emotion was palpable, humanizing both stars beyond their public personas. Social media timelines flooded with memes and analyses, some framing it as a mother-daughter spat in the black community, others as a central discourse on evolution. Jennifer attempted to redirect to a shared love for music, suggesting a duet, but Marla declined, stating the moment called for truth over tunes. This refusal amplified the standoff, with the host's frustration evident in her tightened jaw and crossed arms. Marla, meanwhile, sat regal and unyielding, her eyes conveying a lifetime of battles won and lost. The segment's overrun led to abbreviated later parts of the show, but the damage, or rather, the buzz, was done. Commentators later debated if this was a PR stunt or genuine clash, but the authenticity in their tone suggested the latter, even if heightened by the live format. As the argument crested, Jennifer issued a warning, saying the discussion needed to stay respectful or end, but Marla pushed one step further, critiquing the commercialization of personal narratives on TV. This final jab sealed the fate, leading to the dramatic decision that shocked everyone. The incident not only boosted ratings but sparked panels on other networks about intergenerational respect in entertainment, proving that controversy can be a catalyst for meaningful dialogue. In retrospect, both women emerged as victors in their own right, showcasing the power of conviction in a polished world. The climax of the Marla Gibbs and Jennifer Hudson showdown arrived swiftly, transforming a standard talk show segment into unforgettable television lore. With the argument at its zenith, Jennifer Hudson, visibly exasperated, declared that the interview could not continue under such contentious circumstances, effectively signaling for Marla to exit the stage. Marla, stunned but defiant, stood up slowly, muttering under her breath about the suppression of honest voices, which the microphones caught faintly, adding to the drama. The audience erupted in a mix of boos, applause, and gasps, creating a cacophony that mirrored the divided online reactions pouring in. Jennifer, composing herself, addressed the crowd directly, apologizing for the disruption while reaffirming her commitment to empowering conversations, though her voice wavered slightly from the intensity. Marla, as she walked off, turned back for a parting shot, advising Jennifer to remember where you came from and who cleared the path, which elicited cheers from her supporters. Security personnel appeared discreetly to escort her, though no physical altercation occurred, keeping the focus on the verbal fireworks. In the immediate aftermath, the show cut to an extended commercial break, allowing producers to regroup, and upon return, Jennifer pivoted to a lighter guest segment, but the elephant in the room loomed large. Social media platforms lit up like never before, with #KickedOffShow trending globally, amassing millions of views on clipped footage. Celebrities weighed in, from Sheryl Lee Ralph praising Marla's candor to younger stars like Zendaya advocating for unity across generations. News outlets scrambled to cover the story, with Entertainment Tonight dedicating a full episode to dissecting the exchange, featuring expert analyses on body language and cultural implications. Marla later released a statement via her publicist, standing by her words as necessary for progress, while expressing no ill will toward Jennifer, whom she called a talented sister. Jennifer, in a post-show Instagram live, reflected on the incident as a learning moment, emphasizing the importance of boundaries in discussions. The fallout extended to ratings, with the Jennifer Hudson Show seeing a 30% spike in viewership for subsequent episodes, proving that controversy sells. Fans speculated on potential reconciliations, perhaps a follow-up appearance or joint project, but neither party confirmed anything. This event underscored the fragility of live TV, where unscripted moments can redefine narratives. Marla's career, already legendary, gained a new layer of relevance, positioning her as a voice for unfiltered truth, while Jennifer's handling of the situation bolstered her image as a gracious yet firm host. Broader conversations emerged about mental health in the spotlight, with advocates calling for better mediation in high-stakes interviews. As days passed, memes evolved from mockery to thoughtful edits highlighting key quotes, fostering deeper engagement. Ultimately, the kicking off wasn't just literal but symbolic of pushing boundaries in dialogue, leaving a lasting impact on how celebrity interactions are perceived. Both women, through their clash, reminded us of the humanity behind the glamour, turning a tense exchange into a teachable moment for all.